getting back to it. Martial arts I've studied since I was like 10, like judo, karate, jujitsu. Yeah, I know there's not much difference between judo and jujitsu, but whatever. Judo's more fancy and shit. But anyway, I've studied online. I once learned how to box with a guy who had golden gloves when I was in this place called vocational rehab, even though I didn't do drugs. The head was in there for depression. I don't know. I don't understand it either. It was a small town, so they put us all together. Other people learned some martial arts. I showed one guy a few kicks, shit like that, and how to work balance better. It was what it was. So when I'm talking about martial arts stuff, I do have a little bit of knowledge, because I do have a yellow belt in Ikujitsu, and I've been studying this shit since I was 10. I just never bothered on belt testing and whatnot. It just wasn't my thing. And then I went away, so now the belt doesn't count anyway, and I have other belts that I earned over the years from different martial arts. But again, they don't count, because if you don't go back to the class after a certain time, the instructor doesn't count them anymore. See, that's how we know you're still talented at it, because you see, even if you get a black belt in doing karate, if you're not in the class, training, you could lose all your skill. You see, the instructor, we called him a sensei because that's what he was. Yeah, you see, and his sensei is, was it washu? Anyway, I forget what kung fu called their stuff. Anyway, and yes, there's a difference between kung fu and washu. Washu is the flamboyantly pretty shit. Kung fu is the stuff that'll kind of work. Most workable style is still Jeet Kune Do, but yeah. And that's the old style of Jeet Kune Do where it wasn't bastardized or anything. I'm not getting into it. It's like now a bazillion different Jeet Kune Do's, which is kind of the antithesis of what Bruce Lee wanted. Anyway, never actually studied with anyone on Jeet Kune Do except for tapes and shit, but I studied Jiu-Jitsu since I was 4. Judo since I was like 10, excuse me. Shit, I'm losing my fucking mind. Anyway, studied judo since I was 10, karate since I was 14, 45 years old, so yeah, I got a little bit of knowledge. Anyway, and I picked up things here and there from different people that knew shit. Like the guy with the boxing and shit. And there was a guy that was allegedly an ex-SEAL who taught me a few things about reaction and whatnot. That's what he called his fighting style. It's not important. So there is a little bit of knowledge that I have in there, so I can talk about that. And like I said, there is the acting, which, again, I didn't take acting in school or anything except college. And I did the auditioning class. I wanted to take Acting 101, but it wasn't available. So I got the Irene Adler book on acting, and I ended up taking that. And then used that for this little theater group it was a local theater thing. So, it wasn't like I needed to be the greatest cinema person and everything, or, like the greatest actor, actress, whatever the fuck, in history of the world. You see, I just needed to be able to do okay. And directing, again, like I said, I went to the Art Institute to study, multimedia, and directing was the field I was pursuing. Of course, you learn everything when you do that. You learn the production, you learn how to do the shooting, you learn how to work a leprechaun, which is a little device. It was a little, like, almost a computer. It wasn't quite, where you can hook up your different lights, program it in and shit. And you have, like, that one cable to ground it, because you need to ground it, because otherwise it could go boom, and that would be bad. You can set up these bunch of lights, and you have, like, different little gels that would give you the different lighting, colors, and shit. Yeah. So, the usual stuff. But you see, when I do my videos, I prefer to do like Beakman's World and Bill Nye the Jackass Science Guy. Yeah, I know, most of you are like, what the fuck is Beakman's World? Because it wasn't as popular as Bill Nye the Science Guy. Fuck Bill Nye. Anyway, I prefer to just like a conversation. Like I'm telling you what this old crazy woman thinks, you see. Elizabeth Ann Lucy Oswald. So when I'm studying acting, I'm not acting here at all. I mean, yeah, you probably can't tell because I haven't done anything. Ooh, I really need to get that orange shit next time. Oh well, fuck it. The only thing that I haven't really had any background in it. It's obviously makeup, as you can tell from. I don't know. I think I do okay when it comes to clothes and whatnot, because again, the art thing. So you're always studying. One of the things that comic pros would say: study how people dress. You can understand them. So you can get their look of clothes and stuff, and you don't be as bad as the crazy woman who's about Margot Robbie over there, who's about to screw up fucking Harley Quinn. But why I'm not going to discuss the editing of a movie, or the lighting, or how a different cut was done and shit, and what camera technique they were using, and who obviously were their influences, because they sit out like a sore thumb when you watch the way they shoot and how they do their little pen and scan and shit and their close-ups. That's just not my style of doing these things. I could tell you about all that shit because I have gone to school for it, so I have a little bit of knowledge. You know what they say. College will only get you so damn far. It's how what you actually do in the world that actually means about what you know. I'm not gonna get into all my real life shit here because who the fuck cares, honestly. And yes, the only thing I ever directed were those little bitty fucking, yeah, those two little film things. Directed, I think so. Yeah. And mostly the little, the two fucking theater things. So they were like indie shit, and they were all improv, because that's what we did. We did improv. We had a basic outline of the scripts, and we just kind of went from there. Like, we thought, what would the characters say? What would they feel? What would they think? And when I do my stuff, and since I was playing the main character, at some points I had to have someone stand in and do my part for a minute, so I could watch everybody else around and make what I wanted to do for the next thing. So some rehearsals were done with me as the main character of my two little things. One was about drugs, because whatever. And the other was about being inside of... Oh, dear. Oh, yeah, one was about some kid that did drugs, and one was about somebody who was put into an insane asylum. So the Brie Larson story. No. I did my parts, I got people to play their parts, and we acted. Then I had someone else take my position there, but the theater thing didn't last long because everybody else wanted to do a paper. So I did a little comic thing. Oh dear, I might have to make this 3-part.